going on, guys? We're back here again, ready to tap in. Ready to tap in. Didn't know I was gonna be tapping into this until yesterday. Yesterday, I was editing a video that I was doing, reacting to Nick Nobody's video on the fake alpha male Wes Watson. As I was recording, there was no audio from the video of Wes Watson. You hear me, but you don't hear the video. So had to delete all that. Got to re-record that, which I'm probably going to do either later today after this video, later on today, or a day sometime soon. So this video might come out before the Wes Watson video, but I do plan on doing that. And I actually found this out, coffee burp, from Papa Gut stream. I was listening to the stream, and the story popped up on the TikToker Zoe Laverne. I had no idea who this was. And you just put a stream in the background, you're trying to do other stuff, and it was talking about she's a famous TikToker, but she's also a super predator. Not even a little bit. Not like how on the internet they call some people predators. No, she's a legit predator, a legit pedophile. She should have been in prison. I don't know how she wasn't in prison. I don't know how she got away with this, because the amount of people who knew, just in her friend group, her mom, the kids, the victim's friends, and then eventually the school found out. It was just a lot in that stream. So I started just trying to find some stuff for her, and I came across this video by iNapper. I've only seen 30 seconds of it, and I was trying to test the audio yesterday. From a little bit, she seemed like the stereotypical trying to get famous on TikTok, trying to be an influencer, really cares about views and anything. So it was only about 30, 45 seconds into the video just for the testing of the audio. But if any of what is in this video is related to the TikTok series that her victim put out, you're going to see what I'm talking about. This woman, this monster, I'm calling her monster. This is a certified monster. This is the song Not Like Us was made for. This person is the exact example of why Not Like Us exists. She is a certified pedophile. That's not a joke. This woman is a real predator. And how she's not on the street, I don't know. How she's still on the streets, I don't know. The fact I actually looked up her, she's still famous on TikTok. She's over 20 million followers on TikTok. And she gets like views each post. And it's known about this. She's this type. But we're going to find out more about her in this video. The TikTok predator who got away with everything. And if this is even a fraction of what that kid showed in his TikTok series, this is probably going to be one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen. And from the little bit I already know, I'm disturbed. And it's just like, I don't know if I can get even more disturbed, but anything's possible. So we're going to get into this. Zoe Laverne, the TikTok predator who got away with everything. Let's go.
Zoe Laverne is a TikToker with 21.6 million followers and a page that has accumulated over 2.1 billion likes, and to this day she still gets around 1.3 million views a post. She's somebody who could be considered an OG, as in the early days of TikTok between the year of 2019 and early 2020, Zoe Laverne was one of the most popular TikTokers on the platform, competing with other well-known TikTokers such as the D'Amelios, and there was even a very famous clip that went viral around 2020 of where Zoe was breaking down because Charlie had overtaken her in followers.
I'm literally crying about this for like an hour because it's so like that she just comes and like almost passes, like she's so close to passing me and everybody's reminding me that she's gonna pass me, and I just want to prove this that I am better than her because I am Zoe Laverne and I am literally the star of TikTok.
You see what I mean by when I said like she just seems like stereotypical, like trying to get on TikTok, like influencer, cares way too much. This is what I was saying during like the audio testing. If she was just this, she would just be annoying. She would just be like an annoying influencer who like really, really wants famous. If it was just this, I'd have no problem. But it's not just this. Like if it was her being like an annoying influencer trying to be famous, that's fine, okay? That's a lot of people, especially TikTok. Like, she wants to be the best at TikTok. Go right ahead. I mean, the only difference with the D'Amelios is that the D'Amelios are not pedophiles. That's the only difference. So, interesting, like, seeing how her part of her career started. She was just the stereotypical, like, trying to be, that was it. and trying to be famous not even way too much, caring way too much about it, like way too serious being an influencer.
And TikTok is putting me down and boosting her up, and I'm gonna TikTok headquarters and strangle their neck.
Yeah, a lot of people like to say that the new generation of kids, the brain rot generation, are just fundamentally and absolutely cooked. But when you see clips like this, you can't really help but think to yourself, no, I think an all generation thing. Every generation of children is just cooked to a fundamental level, because what is going on here? But yes, as you can see, Zoe Laverne was a very famous and very popular TikToker with an audience of children that would do absolutely anything they could to speak to her, get her attention, and they would watch every single thing, no matter what it is.
Yes, a lot of kids want to get her attention and would do anything for it. I want you to keep that in mind about a lot of people, especially on the internet for years and years, when talk about some people who date their fans and say they're like grooming them because they already like them, already devote to them because they're a fan. But they're talking about like grown adult fans. This is one of those cases where this is a influencer who had child fans, like children. And if it taps into what I think it's going to tap in today, this is one of the most obvious signs and the most obvious example of grooming that I've ever seen. Like legitimate grooming from an adult onto a child that was already infatuated and already a fan of this person, and she took advantage of that. This is the most prime example of grooming that I've ever seen in my life. So I just heard said a devoted fan of like child fans that would do anything to get her attention, and that immediately popped them like, yep, and she turned to that.
Zoe posts. But talking of children, this actually does lead us into some dark territory, which is now the main reason that in 2025 people know Zoe Laverne. Because you see, in November of 2020,
Apologizing for kissing 13-year-old fan Connor. I think it's Connor. Yes, the kid's name is Connor. Yeah, she apologized for kissing a 13, yes. But that's not all she did. That's not the only thing she did. She apologized for kissing the fan. That's not the only thing she did, though. She did way more than this.
Zoe Laverne, at 19 years old, was exposed for grooming and kissing a 13-year-old fan. And this was something that was absolutely everywhere at the time. So many people were talking about this situation, including myself.
Shout out Jabri. Shout out Jay Aubrey. I haven't watched that video. But now hearing all this came out, this has happened years ago. 5 years. In 2025, the victim came out. The victim, who's 18 now, is pushing for justice because a lot of people failed him, including the system. And he's trying to get justice in 2025. He's really pushing for justice for him, and that is Connor, the kid that got victimized by Zoe Laverne. But after this, I might check out that Jay Aubrey video just to see what was going on 4 years ago and kind of the reaction during that time of YouTube and during when this came out.
And it's mainly because Zoe Laverne was such a famous TikToker that to see something like this was just absolutely pure insanity. The story got so viral that it was actually hitting mainstream news outlets who were talking about
catching feelings, yes. She had a very deep romantic relationship with this 13-year-old. As a 19-year-old woman, she was having a very emotionally romantic, physical relationship with this 13-year-old kid. It wasn't just catching feelings. She was in a legitimate, deep relationship with this 13-year-old. I want that understood right now. This wasn't just catching feelings. No.
Things going on in this big controversy. And what's interesting is this wasn't a case of just regular allegations going around with no evidence, screenshots, or proof. No, this was a case of where it was a slam dunk. There was so much evidence that went round to do with this situation that Zoe Laverne just simply could not escape this. She was dubbed as yet again another TikTok predator, and seemingly this was the end of Zoe Laverne. And yeah, now we are in 2025. It's been around 5 years since this controversy really erupted, and I guess it does beg a few questions, such as, well, what actually happens to Zoe Laverne? Did Zoe face consequences? Did she even go to jail for committing?
No, she didn't. It happened. She got away with it. I don't. I'm gonna watch. I can't. How? I don't know how she got away with this. If everybody knew this was happening, there was so much evidence against it. She didn't go to jail. She still gets over 1 million people watching her stuff on TikTok. She's still a prominent creator and influencer on TikTok. Like, how does that happen? I don't understand this. Just hearing that everybody knew about this and there's so much evidence. Also, this kid is 13. Like, this is a 19-year-old adult. That's around a 13-year-old. This is not even in high school yet. This is a 13-year-old probably finishing up 8th grade. She's messing with a middle schooler and she didn't go to prison. I don't know how. Let's find out, Sway.
Heinous actions? Did she even maybe just lose her platform? No, it was things. Yes, Zoe Laverne actually faced 0 repercussions, and she is even to this day still posting content and getting millions and millions of views. And I'm not gonna lie to you fellas, this is genuinely one of the most confusing stories and situations I think I have ever seen, because when I say that there was a plethora of evidence surrounding this situation, it wasn't just a plethora. There's not even a big word invented yet to describe how much evidence there was out there to prove that Zoe Laverne is and was a predator, but somehow she has just shamelessly gotten away with everything and has...
Hold on, what did that say? Thinking of the hold on. Talking to the guy I was talking to wouldn't answer me, so I drove by his house and he wasn't even there. Okay, just some sappy toast about some. Now, when you mean guy, how old is this guy? Because you're saying the guy wouldn't answer you back. Was it past his bedtime? Was he at practice? Did he have activities to do? Like, no, because when you say he's not answering you back, and you mess with children, my bad. Mess with teens. Okay, you messing with like fresh teen, and I don't even like saying it like that. I wonder why he's not answering. Probably because I don't know. 13-year-olds got like other things to do. Oh no. I'm sorry. I don't really care about this sappy post you made of a guy who wouldn't answer you, so you drove by his house. Also, that's weird.
But somehow she has just shamelessly gotten away with everything and has continued like nothing.
When I ask him if he's hungry and he says he's already ate, I don't care.
Thing has ever happened, and this is just one of the most confusing cases I've ever seen, because so many other influencers and celebrities have been exposed for the same thing, and yet they did face consequences, but Zoe Laverne to this day is just still there and posting. It's weird, it's crazy, but aside from that, you may be actually wondering, well, what are we doing here? I've covered this story in the past, so what, are we just doing a rehash? No, because recently there has been a development in this story.
And this is the fan right here. This is the fan Connor, when he was doing his TikTok series about how he was trying to get justice for himself, because it's gonna be a story, but a lot of people failed this kid. From Zoe's mom for not checking her for this disgusting behavior, to his mom, Connor's mom, well, first of all, Zoe, let me go back on Zoe's mom. First of all, she said she thought it was not a big deal. First of all, she knew he was 13. I'm not even joking about that. Or it might be corrected that she doesn't. If she does, I'll edit that out. I'm pretty sure she knew this kid was 13 and that her 19-year-old daughter, was messing with him, and she thought it was fine. She thought it was just something innocent. His mom just didn't say anything wrong with it. Thought it was just him just talking to influencer. Didn't really think about it. Didn't really question it. I don't know why. I know it's TikTok and you think it's only kids on that app, but the fact that you're okay. I believe he said he took all the evidence he showed in this series in 2025 to the police, and they turned him away. So the police, the law enforcement, they failed this kid. A lot of people failed this kid, and Zoe got away with it. Yeah, this is the kid here. This is Connor. Well, he's 18 now, but the reason I call him a kid because it happened to him when he was a kid. And like, this is Connor.
So allow me to introduce you to Connor, who actually is the victim in this story. You see, when this story originally took place, Connor was 13 years old, and now he is around the age of 18, which is quite insane to think because it's been 5 years since this story erupted, and he still is not at the age that Zoe was at when he was being by her. Zoe was 19 and he still has not reached that age. But yes, Connor has returned to social media and has made absolute waves in the process, because what he did in his return was tell the story of what happened between him and Zoe, and in the process he has posted multiple receipts, multiple videos and multiple screenshots, which ultimately just show that this story is somehow even worse than we originally thought. Because Zoe Laverne has not only gotten away with a heinous crime for the last 5 years, but she has gotten away from a police investigation, and overall, the things that we originally...
She's a mother? That toxic, drain, lonely... Shut up. Shut up. Me, world didn't end when I finally left that toxic, draining, lonely relationship. Shut up. I like the fact Connor didn't realize the world didn't end after this fucking him. I'm glad Connor didn't let that completely destroy him, and he's still out here trying to get justice and getting therapy to fix himself. But hey, you left a toxic, draining relationship. Go, queen. Go, queen. Go. Like, shut up. You shut the fuck up.
Thought that she did are actually fundamentally so much unbelievably worse.
That really just triggered me. I'm like, bitch, I don't care that you're a fucking pedophile. I don't give a fuck that you left a toxic relationship. I don't give a shit. Bitch, you were a pedophile that got away with it. I don't care. Fuck.
So what I want to do in today's video is actually go through the original story as it was coming out in 2020 and explore it in a quick and concise manner to really allow you to understand the real context behind everything in this story. And then what I want to do is move into Connor's side of the story, his expose surrounding the entire situation. And with that and the original story in your mind, you will truly be able to understand how bad of a person Zoe Laverne is, and why I am so flabbergasted that she has gotten away with this for so unbelievably long. And I don't say flabbergasted lightly, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, we're firstly going to get into chapter 1 or chapter 2, which is the original story of Zoe Laverne. And before we do that, I do just want to put a warning saying, yes, there are going to be a lot of sensitive things that we're going to go through in the next part of this video. I will be using words to get around YouTube's, system, and I will be describing fleetingly and lightly, and I'm not obviously going to go into any gruesome detail because I actually want this video to be viewed by people. And before we do that, I do just want to put in a quick shameless request. Could you please like this video, comment something down below, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. But with that, let's get into the original story. So yes, the original 2020 allegations surrounding Zoe Laverne. Let's get into them. On October the 24th, 2020, a former friend of Zoe Laverne called Amber had her messages between herself and Zoe's ex-partner leaked. And in these messages, there was a lot of damning allegations directed.
I'm going to be honest with you and hope that it truly stays between you and I, because I genuinely don't know what to do. I left because of her interactions, I'm guessing, with Connor. They got very intense and something I do not stand by whatsoever. It's pedophilia. I had told Zoe that if she stopped and minimized contact with him, that she wouldn't have to lose me, and it didn't have to come to that. So she changed her story and said she was joking about the things with Connor. I don't know why I self-bleeped. But I knew at that point she was lying, and they both were lying. Connor had reached out to me a few times apologizing about lying and that he knows I don't deserve to be lied to, etc., and assured me but Dawson just reached out to me yesterday and said they still FaceTime all day, every day, and haven't info. More into that, she became very toxic to my mental health after my breakup with Jack.
Towards Zoe.
She knows I was struggling mentally. I was in a very dark place, and she went to the extent of making a false texting app pretending to be Jack just to put me deeper into my mental hole. Jesus Christ, the fuck with this girl? He saw that he was attempting conversations with me, which wasn't attention she was getting. So on several counts, she told me, as well as a few others, that you were making texting apps to text her and call her ugly, etc., etc. She at one point in front of you He used to beat the shit out of her, and I snapped on her because I grew up in an abusive household, and I told her she has no idea what the meaning of having the shit beat out of her was. Nothing but fought about these things, and she talks nothing but you. I've watched her fake texts, fake calls, etc. session. Dawson and I spoke yesterday, and he told me she's trying to be with him again, yet doing the whole lying to everyone else as well, because her and Connor. Nothing really makes sense to me. Okay, I'm so sorry I wasn't anything. Your perspective when Tiger Switch came out. I left California and was gone for so long, I almost forgot how easily manipulation comes from. That I left Zoe. She has both her parents thinking I'm some horrible person that just did her so dirty, all while she is 19, by law engaging pedophilia with a 13-year-old, which is the only reason I left. I'm so happy you're doing well and finally found happiness, Cody. You deserve it. I'm almost there. Okay, so her friend knew about that and decided to cut all contact with her because she asked her to stop messing with this 13-year-old. Thank you. But Zoe didn't want to, and apparently Zoe was using a fake texting app to text like she was this girl ex-boyfriend. They put her in a more mental hole, I guess. And she just really didn't want to stop being with Connor. She really did not want to stop being a pedophile. So she stopped being friends with her. And I guess Zoe told her parents that I guess Amber's just so horrible person and did her so dirty, I guess. Now, okay, so my only issue is you didn't call the police. Like, you didn't, try to say, you said by law, right here, by law, and pedophilia with a 13-year-old. So why was there no cops called? I know that's your friend, and I know you, I guess that's still your friend. And you know she's doing something really disgustingly terrible. I guess as a friend you didn't want to turn her in, I guess, but I'm sorry. I don't accept this. You should call the police. This woman should have been stopped. I don't know what it took for it to finally stop. Maybe it was the fact that these came out and she was getting a lot of attention, so she stopped eventually. I don't know, but all I know is you should have went to the police with this. You should have went to Amber. Seriously.
In these messages, there is a lot of damning allegations directed towards Zoe Laverne. It starts off with a message stating, "I'm going to be honest with you in hopes that this stays between you and I." Well, as we know, that did not happen.
No,
I'm
it
going
did.
to be honest with you in hopes this stays between you and I because I genuinely don't know what to do. I left because of her interactions with Connor. Things got very intense and it's something that I do not stand by whatsoever. Then she describes the actions between Zoe and the child, and it goes on to say, "I have told Zoe that if she stopped and minimized contact with him, that she would not have to lose me and it didn't have to come to that. So she changed her story and said she was joking about the things with Connor, but I knew at that point she was lying and they were both lying. Connor had reached out to me a few times apologizing about lying, and he knows that I didn't deserve to be lied to, etc., and assured me that they stopped, but Dawson just reached out to me yesterday and said they still FaceTime all day, every day, and have no." So basically, what's going on here is behind the scenes, before anything has come up publicly, Amber, a friend of Zoe, and the other people surrounding Zoe have kind of realized that there is a very inappropriate relationship between a 9-year-old and a 13-year-old. But then after that, it goes into moving into talking about more personal drama, which I don't really think I need to go through. But then we get into the final message where it goes back to the original topic.
I mentioned because the support system I have at home, where I'm most worried about is about Connor, because right now because he's so young, but 10 years from now he's going to look back and say to himself, I was raped, I was molested, because in all honesty, that's what it is.
Stating, "I know that I'll heal and I'll be alright mentally because of the support system here at home. Where I'm most worried about is Connor, because right now he won't understand because he's so young, but 10 years from now he's going to look back and say to himself, I was R-worded, or that's what it is." And yeah, I think the most tragic part about that message is it wasn't 10 years, it wasn't even 5 years. From what you're going to see in recent developments, the victim, Connor, in this situation, very, very shortly after what took place, that what was going on was wrong, and yet Zoe manipulated him in the best way everybody, and that is how she got away with this for so long. Now, at the time, messages went viral, but of course, at this point, there's allegations. There was no evidence to really support this. Connor hadn't said anything yet, and people on TikTok were just going through these around the information surrounding. Within the public these claims, Zoe was surprisingly confident in combating these allegations. You see everything, and in hindsight, it is genuinely quite hilarious to hear some of the things that she said in this live stream.
I don't know where this screen came from. I don't know if...
Yes, you did. You know it's from your friend. Her name, like her name is in the text, so you do know where this came from. It came from your ex-friend who wanted you to stop fucking. She wanted you to disgusting predator. You to stop being a pedo. And
Amber Action, I don't know.
You know. Now, I gotta remember, this is in 2020. It is 5. No, a good portion of information, and I know she did this. It was 2020. We were locked down. Not a lot of content to the outside world. Very easy to believe this could be photoshopped. Gotta remember, these were allegations. Gotta remember that. Hindsight's always 2020, so I was 2020. I wasn't even aware of this. I was worried about what is going on in the pandemic. I wasn't really worried about this, and I wasn't even on TikTok in 2020. So I had no idea about this.
I don't know what it is. I don't know why it was said, whatever the case is. But I am here to tell the truth and tell you that I am 19 years old and I know better than to do.
Hold on. Let me just center this right here, because I want to make sure you're looking at me. You're looking at me. Hold on. I gotta make sure you're staring dead in my eyes right now. No, you don't know better. You really don't. You really, really, really don't. No. You do not know better. Absolutely not. I think I would know better. No, you don't. You really don't. So we just stop that right now. It's 2020 and I keep forgetting. But let's stop this saying I think I know better. You didn't. You didn't. TikTok is an app usually the age range from people who use TikTok is very. You got people in like their 60s. I don't want to mess up what she just said. Just something about that sentence and knowing all this just hits.
My career.
Just said majority of my fan base is mine. Platform that you can't really be an appropriate platform. Saying your career, I guess, predicated by mine. I don't know. Because I know she's a predator and hearing her say it like that, it just sounds weird.
I have little kids that look up to me on a daily basis. Yes, maybe in my past I've done minors and, vaped whatever in front of them.
I want you to, she probably does vape in front of minors. I want you to remember that. Because there was a video in Connor's series that he showed on his TikTok. I wonder if that video is going to be in. I wonder if that is going to be in this video, because when she said the most done is vape in front of minors, you are downplaying the shit out of that. He said where she does vape in front of minors. I was like, I wonder if that's going to be shown in here, because the fact she just said that, I hope that video is shown in here. I just hope it is. Unless I gotta pull up TikTok. If that video's not in here. Because she's saying the worst she's done is vape in front of minors.
If that was the case, that was the case, etc. But the fact of people saying that one of my best friends that was a supporter of me for 3 years is unacceptable. Is disgusting. Makes me my stomach. Literally makes me want to throw up. I can't even I can't even ever imagine doing.
From 2020, and knowing what I know now in 2025, this aged so much like fucking milk.
Honestly, in shutting these things down, it's all rumors, it's all drama, toxic until days later. Because you see, Zoe a few things leaked. And well, honestly, I can't really show what leaked. Clips are all over the internet now, they're in multiple YouTube videos. I'm trying to present this in a way where this video doesn't get age restricted. But basically, the things that got leaked from this Instagram were edits that Zoe self of her and the 13-year-old victim embracing and, most importantly, kissing each other. I'm not joking. This was an account, and Zoe.
Yeah. And Papa got streamed yesterday. You could see it was about to happen in the video, and he cut it away because nobody. Yeah, she kissed this kid. Like, not a peck on the cheek, not a little plant. She kissed. 19 years old, kissing this 13-year-old boy. That's what she did. Fucking disgusting.
We had been flaunting this proudly and seemingly been posting like her and Connor, the 13-year-old, were in some form of extremely disturbing relationship.
Because they were in a very extremely disturbing relationship. I'm calling that a predator that boy. They were not in a relationship. Connor was in a victimization, and Zoe was being a predator. This is a predator who entangled this 13-year-old boy in her web and to be burning in hell type of things. Not even joking. She needs to be burning in it. Like, the fact that she is walking these streets the same way that is reprehensible. I don't know why she's allowed to, A, really, B, be this popular on TikTok, and C, still be able to fuck. All who just got inspired by Chris Hansen, Alex Rosen, Jadian on the internet, and nobody caught this one. Nobody did anything about this one. Nobody took it seriously. Except the people who knew that was wrong, but the people who needed to know this was wrong and needed to correct. I don't care if it's a fake Instagram account. Posting video. That's why she was saying that stuff about her career and stuff. I wanted to laugh my ass. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You were flaunting this. What are you actually talking about? You were flaunting this. You didn't care. Your friends knew. Did not give a single fuck. Old enough to know. Fucking old enough to know right on. Career predicate. Yeah, you're right. Minors who would do anything to get your attention, and you took full advantage of that. Full fucking advantage of that. So I don't want to hear it.
Share these clips, but as you can see here, they viral at the time. A call of Zoe Laverne.
Never happened. The downfall never happened. He was 13, was 11. He looked like a child. He really did. Like, he was 19 and was attracted to that. I don't know how as an adult you're attracted to that. And I don't know how you look at that child, because he looked like a child. And you thought, and you were attracted to that. I don't know how that works. That is wild ass work. Like, look at this shit. Oh my god, he looks, his voice hasn't even dropped. This kid barely even touched the This kid barely even reached the surface of puberty. Barely, all capital letters, underlined, you name it. Barely a teenager. And he got the old woman.
had not even dropped, which is obviously so incredibly disturbing. And I've read a few comments that we'll get into later of people being like, I have a younger brother that's the same age that Connor was then, and it's horrific to think that someone of Zoe's age could even be attempting to engage in those activities. It's just so disturbing, and when you really think about it, it does just kind of bringing the sheer insanity that she...
A very, very disgusting hate. These are the people that get buried underneath prisons. But she's getting 2.4, 2.2, 1.8, 1.6 million. People like this should be buried underneath prisons. She's over here getting TikTok. And being on TikTok, where she still has a very young audience. And y'all let it know that she could get away with this.
Jumping ahead in a timeline here, but it is
2.8, 2.1, 1.7, 1.6.
just so wild.
Didn't know a lot of people like watching a Predator. I didn't know that.
That she
4.7, 2.9.
it, but also still shamelessly shows her face on social media. But what makes it even more bizarre is she erupting and getting spoken about by more and more.
Are you doing this? Are you? This is what I mean by her mom brushed it off and didn't think it was this serious. Your daughter's 19. Are you kidding me? You're downplaying this. Word. Mom needs to go too. Mom needs to be buried underneath the prison too. Like, we got. What is this? What is this? I would never say this if my child's 19 years old. He messed with a 13-year-old. She messed with a 13. I'm not saying this. Are you kidding me right now? Bro, I'm calling. What the Not. What are you? Why are you doing this? I wish I got the Dana White edit in here. That's fucking illegal. What do you mean, why are we doing this? Because it's illegal. What are you talking about? You're years old fucking with a 13-year-old who looked an 11-year-old. What are you talking about? Saying this needs to stop. You're right. It needed to stop, but you didn't stop it. You thought it wasn't that serious. And you're coming at people pointing out how disgusting this is, and you're telling them, why are you doing this? Mom of the century, one of the greatest moms of our generation, one of the greatest moms I've ever seen in my generation. One of the greatest moms I've ever seen in the generation. Character and Precious. These two are just phenomenal mothers. Just her a lot of round of applause to this entire video. Just a lot of people are going to be getting a round of applause for their fucking performances and just the overall downplaying, dismissing this situation, and Zoe for being the disgusting monster who by victimizing Connor.
Daughter's actions telling people to stop, where you can see these quotes here where she says, anyone reach over and kiss someone. They're best friends and this needs to stop you.
Anybody can reach over and kiss somebody. They're
Not they got her on, not you going online and doing this. Oh my God. Bro. We're definitely watching this now. We're definitely going back 5 years. Because what? You went online to do this? You're just going to bring more attention to it. And you're also going to bring attention to the fact that you're defending your daughter and you're letting it rock that she's a pet. Okay.
best friends, and this needs to stop, you guys. Why are you doing this?
Well, Debs, we're doing this because your daughter deserves to be in a jail cell. And I think what makes this particularly disturbing is you have an adult woman, a mother of a child, who I understand wants the best for her child, but surely...
This ain't it, though. She wants the best for her child. This ain't it. This is not the best. We can do better. We could do way better. You're not even at bare minimum. You're not even reaching the bar of below average. Your fingers can't even touch the bar of below average parent. Down on your daughter because your daughter's a fucking predator and you're wondering why people are calling her out for it. That is disastrous parenting. You need to be in prison with your daughter. Your daughter needs to go first, and you need to go right behind her. The fact that you were sitting there asking why are people doing this, because your daughter is being a fucking predator. But they're best friends. They're not best predator. The other one's a victim. That's not best friends. That's not best friends. Also, you're cool with your daughter being 19-year-old best friends with a 13-year-old? Like, really? You're okay with that? You think that shit's you think that shit's okay? You think that's all right? Apparently she did 5 years ago. Apparently she might still does. She probably still does. Terrible mother.
She should think if someone ever tried to do this to her child when they were that age, they would be repulsed, disturbed, and would do anything to protect their... When it's happening to another child, she's defending the criminal in this situation.
And don't believe everything you hear.
I don't even have to believe everything I hear. I just see it from the screenshots and the videos. They're allegations. Because they're allegations, they can be like, don't believe everything you hear. Miss, these allegations have messages and screenshots and video. This isn't people believing what they hear. This is people believing with their eyes. Their eyes are seeing this, and this shit is disgusting. But if you... a terrible person who raised an even more terrible person. You're a terrible person who raised a child to become an even more terrible person as an adult. Let's cut this shit right now. Let's cut this. Like, what the fuck are we actually doing here?
It's outstanding in the worst possible way. This person should be outright and absolutely ashamed of herself. But no, she has launched multiple defenses of Zoe. It's just so hard to understand why.
This video is fucking ridiculous. The form of cry she's doing, like she's being victimized. It's a boy. Fuck your tears. Your tears mean jack shit. Cut it out.
And it's just so hard to understand why. Over the years of the drama sphere on social media getting popular, getting more clicks surrounding it, more money coming into it, the terminology of predator and groomer has been thrown around quite a lot, and in some cases...
Oh yeah, they just throw it around like it's... They throw it around like it's fucking necklaces at Mardi Gras. Like anything that's either like... Also, the term weird, and they don't mean like weird. They mean like weird and creepy, predatory, right? They throw around the word weird, and they throw around the word predator and pedophile a lot, even in situations where it doesn't call for it. But this is not one of the times. This is one of the times they rightfully called out somebody for being a predator.
Ways that it absolutely should not be, but this is what we have here is fundamentally, to the dictionary definition, a predator that has taken advantage of it possible. Now, thankfully, at the time, most people on social media saw Zoe's mother was doing a thing, and Zoe was inevitably another TikTok predator. And I guess it does just beg the question of, well, I did debunk things, but now there is actually evidence, so what did she do? Well, she ran away.
Following the backlash, Laverne deleted her Instagram account. She then reportedly posted it to her fans from a private Instagram account. She was believed to manage, according to Dexerto. Thank you for everything, really, but for right now, I don't think I'll be back on social media again. The message read, I have a lot to think about. I really don't want to leave you guys, but I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of crying and hurting. It's nothing but negativity to me,